mic is off.
Good afternoon.
If I can please Ladies and gentlemen, I just have a very quick announcement. We have picked up a very, very large camera bag just outside the entrance to this building. If the bag belongs to you, please meet Miss Britt. She's standing at the back with blue and white t-shirt to collect what looks like a very expensive piece of equipment. Thank you. We will commence shortly. Esteemed guests, colleagues, ladies, gentlemen, and most importantly, our graduands of 2025. Welcome to the Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences Pledge Ceremony. My name is Florence de Vries, and along with the faculty management team and all our staff, I'd like to extend my congratulations to our students who will pledge to uphold the values of the faculty and those of the profession you are joining. The Health Professionals Pledge is undoubtedly one of the most important commitments made by an individual entering a health profession. We trust that this commitment you make today will serve you well in your professional career. Before we commence with the official pledge ceremony, I'd like to remind you that this event is being live streamed and that a recording of it will be made available hereafter. Please accept my well wishes as you conclude your academic journey with us today. We will now observe the entrance of the academic procession. Please rise.
Good afternoon. Goedemiddag. Mulweni. Please take your seats. My name is Karen Bartjes. I am the Vice Dean of Learning and Teaching in the faculty. On behalf of the Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences, I hereby welcome the following guests to our pledge ceremony for Health Sciences graduates this afternoon. The family and friends of our graduates, our funding partners, our colleagues from local government, and our guest speaker, Professor Wayne Derman, faculty management, the Deputy Registrar, executive heads of departments, heads of divisions, program lead, academic and support staff of the MBCHB program, and most importantly, our graduates of 2025. As the Vice Dean of Learning and Teaching at the faculty, I value the significance of alumni engagement and the role it plays in the shaping of the future of Stellenbosch University. Being an active alum goes beyond mere nostalgia. It's about fostering a lifelong connection with your alma mater and becoming champions of the values, achievements, and continuous progress of the faculty. Your engagement with us in the future will help us to continue to innovate, expand opportunities, and enhance the educational experience, empowering aspiring healthcare professionals to excel and make a meaningful impact in their respective fields. We trust that you will continue to help us in the future to sustain the spirit of excellence that defines our institution. Every year, the faculty invites a special guest to this event to share some words of inspiration as you, our graduands, embark on this exciting new journey. I would like to take the opportunity now to introduce to you Professor Wayne Derman. Wayne Derman stands as one of South Africa's leading figures in sports and exercise medicine. A specialist sports physician and professor at Stellenbosch University, he heads the Division of Sports and Exercise Medicine and co-directs both the IOC Research Centre of South Africa and the FIFA Medical Centre of Excellence. As the current medical director of the International Paralympic Committee, he has long shaped the medical care of athletes on the world stage. His extensive research, influential contributions to Paralympic sports medicine, and more than 300 scholarly publications have earned him wide recognition internationally. Throughout his distinguished career, Professor Derman has received numerous prestigious awards reflecting his enduring commitment to athlete health, scientific excellence, and service to the broader community. Prof. Derman, we look forward to your message this afternoon.
Thank you for your kind introduction, Corin. Dean, Vice Deans, fellow faculty members, distinguished guests, proud parents, partners, and most importantly, the graduates of class of 2025, good afternoon. It's such a profound privilege and an honor to stand before you today at this pivotal moment. This ceremony, this oath-taking ceremony, is not merely a formality, it's a threshold. You are crossing over the realm from the student into the realm of the professional healer. Whichever of the clinical disciplines that you are involved in, and it's mostly medicine, that you're represented here, you're embarking on a journey that is demanding as it is sacred. To care for a patient, to hold another human being's health, dignity, and sometimes their very life in your hands is an extraordinary honor. It's a responsibility that will test you, it will break you, but it will put you together stronger than you were before. But before we look forward, we must look besides us to the other parts of this room. No clinician stands alone. And to the parents, the families, the partners, and the friends sitting in the audience, this day belongs to you as well. We know the sacrifices you have made. I know it because I'm a parent as well to 4 children, 3 of whom have been through this journey. We know the late nights, the financial strain, the emotional support during exam stress, and the unwavering belief that you have held when your graduates' own belief might have wavered. You are the unsung heroes of healthcare producing this lot. Please give them applause. Now, I've been asked to share with you some advice, and usually the best way to do this is to look back and ask, what would I tell my younger self? So let me take you back to time close to when I was sitting there, maybe a year after that. That was at the end of my own internship. I was a young doctor at Chris Hani Baragwanath Hospital in Gauteng, in Soweto. It was the height of political unrest in our country. and I was working in trauma and emergency care in something called the surgical pit at Barra. And day after day, night after night, I was confronted with the visceral reality of man's inhumanity to man. The violence, the trauma, the sheer volume of the suffering, it was absolutely overwhelming. To be honest with you, and I look back, I was burnt out. And I was turned off from the standard paths of medicine. I looked at the usual specialities, surgery, internal medicine, orthopedics, and I felt nothing but a heavy heart. I wanted out. And I had my escape route planned. I had a job lined up as the ship's doctor on the cruise ship, the Achille Lauro. The ship that would tragically sink a couple of years later in a big fire on board, so I'm really happy that I didn't go that route. After that, I had lined up a stint as the doctor at Club Med, which is a popular holiday destination all over the world. I was ready to run away. But then something happened that changed the trajectory of my life. I had a conversation with my mentor, who was the late, great Professor Asher Dubb of cardiology at Baragwanath. And he asked me about my plans. And when I told him about the cruise ship, he looked at me sternly and he said, "Wayne, I refuse to let you ruin a potentially good career." He asked me one simple question. He said, "What is your passion?" And at the time, my passion wasn't in the ward. It was on the road. I was running about 10 kilometers a day and competing in half marathons and 32K races. It was my escape and my joy. So Professor Dubb looked at me again and he said, "Listen, you must then marry your passion with your work." So I thought about combining my love for running and my commitment to medicine. The logical answer was something called sports medicine. The problem? In those days, there was no such thing. It didn't exist as a specialty and a career path. But Professor Dubb didn't let that stop us. He said, "Listen, Wayne, there's this guy in Cape Town, his name is Tim Noakes. He's doing something similar called sports science. I'm giving you 2 days off, go and chat to him." So I took those 2 days, got on a plane, came to Cape Town, spoke to Tim Noakes, and he told me to come to do sports science first. So I had to do an honors in sports science, and then we would look at developing sports medicine together. And the rest, as they say, is history. I stayed in Cape Town, completed my PhD, and through the collaboration with a wonderful group of friends and colleagues, 35 years later, sport and exercise medicine is a recognized specialty alongside surgery, internal medicine, and orthopedics. So what did I learn from this? So I want to put these into compartments for you. Lesson number 1. Firstly, never underestimate the power of a mentor or two. You're entering a profession that is technically very complex and emotionally draining. You cannot navigate it alone. You need a Professor Dubb. You need somebody older, wiser, and perhaps a little tougher than you are to guide your decisions. A mentor is not just a teacher. Teacher gives you information. A mentor gives you perspective. They see the potential in you that you can't see in yourself. They're the ones who will stop you from ruining a potentially good career because they can see the long game when you're just involved in the immediate crisis management. So don't wait for a mentor to fall into your lap. Seek them out. Look for the clinicians who still have a spark in their eye after about 20 years of clinical practice, and ask them out for a coffee. Ask them for advice. Be humble enough to learn from their battle scars. Lesson number 2, don't be constrained by the well-beaten path. If I'd followed the standard route, I would never have helped to and had the privilege of helping to build a new specialty. I urge you, open your mind. Expose yourself to disciplines outside of your immediate clinical silo. Medicine doesn't exist in a vacuum. Look at economics to understand the systems that your patients live in. Look at engineering to understand the future of prosthetics and rehabilitation. Look at the humanities, at law, at music, at art to understand the human soul that you are treating. Innovation actually happens not so much inside our silos, but at the intersection and the crossroads of disciplines. It is through exposure to these other worlds that you will find new ideas to infuse into your clinical careers. The next great breakthrough in things like occupational therapy could come from an idea in architecture. And the next leap in something like nursing might actually come from aviation safety. So be curious. Don't just be a technician of the body, be a student of the world. Third lesson is find your passion and marry it with your work. This actually is the engine of longevity. If you view your work merely as a job, you will burn out. But if you can align what you love with what you do, you create a renewable source of energy. Maybe your passion's technology, then bring that into surgery. Maybe your passion is social justice, then bring that into community health. Maybe your passion is teaching, then bring that into patient education. And when your work is an extension of your authentic self, success is not just a goal, it's a byproduct of the enthusiasm that you have. Now, before I leave you, if I look back to the young Wayne leaving Baragwanath, is there any other advice I would give him? Well, I would tell him to find time to express gratitude at least once a day. Gratitude is a medicine that should be bottled. It sounds like a cliche, but it's that because it's so true. It does wonderful things for the brain and the soul, and it actually rewires the brain. There have been some wonderful functional MRI studies where one can see a brain under the influence of gratitude. I was taught this lesson through my transition from the South African Olympic team to the South African Paralympic team. I'll be honest with you, initially I didn't want to make that transition. I had my sights set on the glamour of the Olympics. But I didn't want to be involved with the Paralympians. I thought it would be depressing and in some way lesser. Boy, was I wrong. Serving as the team physician for the Paralympic team became perhaps the most meaningful experience of my life. Working with those athletes, I learned about the vast spectrum of human ability and disability. And I saw resilience that defied any of the medical textbooks. But most importantly, I learned not to take my own health and ability for granted. I learned to wake up in the morning and to wiggle my toes around and take a deep breath without pain and say thank you. In your careers, you will see loss. You will see the body fail. Let that not make you cynical. Let it make you grateful. Be grateful for your own health and be grateful for the trust that your patients will place in you. Which leads me to my final bit of advice. When things get tough in your career, and they will, look after your health. Strive to maintain the balance. There's a dangerous myth in healthcare that we must be martyrs. That to be a good clinician, we must sacrifice our own well-being. And that's a lie. The adage says you can't pour from an empty cup. Exercise every day. And I don't say this because I'm professor of sport and exercise medicine. I say it because the physical, the mental, and the emotional benefits are not negotiable. Exercise is the best antidepressant, it's the best anxiolytic, and it's the best cardioprotective drug that we have. So when the ward rounds are long and the outcomes are bad, and when the system frustrates you, go for a run, swim, dance, walk your dog, move your body to clear your mind, Protect your sleep. Any sleep is good sleep. Nurture your relationships. You're a human being first, you're a clinician second, and never forget that. So class of 2025, you're stepping into a world that needs you desperately. It needs your skills, yes, but more than that, it needs your humanity. It needs you to find mentors who challenge you. It needs you to look beyond your textbooks for inspiration. It needs you to bring your unique passions into your clinic. It needs you to practice gratitude, and it needs you to be healthy, whole, and happy. So go out there, marry your passion with your work, and make us all proud of you. Thank you.
Thank you for those insightful words, Professor Derman, and thank you for inspiring message. I think your impressive career trajectory, your expertise, your dedication to Paralympic and sports medicine has profoundly enriched the occasion today, this afternoon, and I'm sure it has left a lasting impression on us all. So thank you for that. Please come and accept a small token of our appreciation. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nico van Pittius. I'm the Vice Dean for Research and Internationalization, and it is my privilege to lead our graduands this afternoon to make the pledge. This is a pledge made in public to uphold the values of the faculty and the profession that they are joining, or that you all are joining. Graduands will be invited to stand and read the pledge together with me. After this reading, they will sign our pledge book that remains in the safekeeping of the faculty. Each graduate will receive a copy of the pledge in the 3 official languages of this province: English, Afrikaans, and isiXhosa. We will first have the reading of the pledge in Afrikaans and then in isiXhosa. When these 2 versions have been read, I will request our graduates to join me in reading the Health Professions Pledge. Can all the graduates please stand? So I'd like to invite now Nicholas Steyn and Imita Goduka to please come and read the Afrikaans and isiXhosa pledge.
En hiermee die gelofte. Ek onderneem uit vrye wil en met verskuldigde eerbied om 'n professionele geneeskundige te wees wat mense respekteer, na myself omsien en ander met waardigheid, integriteit en deernis behandel. Ek heg waarde aan wie ek is en kan word, net soveel soos wat ek waarde heg aan ander vir wie hulle is en kan word. Ek sal te alle tye poog om pasiënte se vertroulikheid te verseker en die hoogste etiese standaarde in my praktyk te handhaaf. In 'n immer veranderende wêreld sal ek 'n nuuskierige, kreatiewe en nadenkende professionele gesondheidswerker bly, wat respek betoon vir die diverse ideologieë, idees, kontekste en oplossings wat vir mense, gemeenskappe en bevolking saak maak. Ek sal met ander as gelyke vennote saamwerk in die strewe na uitnemendheid in mensgesentreerde sorg. Ek verbind my daartoe om 'n voorspraak vir sosiale geregtigheid te wees en ek sal my bearbei om die lewensomstandighede, versorgingservarings en gesondheidsuitkomste van diegene wat aan my sorg toevertrou word te verbeter. Ek aanvaar my verantwoordelikheid om te help om 'n volhoubare toekoms vir almal te bou, deur hulpbronne met sorg, kreatiwiteit en ywer aan te wend. Ten slotte sal ek te alle tye poog om sorg te voorsien wat hulp verleen en geen skade berokken nie.
Mna ndifunda ndikhululekile nangokuzithoba ndisithi ndiya kuba yingcali yezempilo ebahloniphayo abantu, ezikhathaleleyo nephatha abanye abantu ngesidima, imfezeko nothando. Ndimxabisile lo mntu endinguye, nalowo ndiyakuze ndibe nguye. Nanjengoko ndibaxabisile nabanye, noko bakuko, kwanoko baya kuba kuko. Ndiza kuzama ngamaxesha onke ukuzigusha iimfihlo zesigulane, kwaye ndibambelele kweyona migangatho yokuziphatha iphezulu emsebenzini wam. Kweli hlabathi liguquguquka mihla le, ndiza kuhlala ndiyingcali yezempilo eqavileyo, eyilayo neqiqayo, ezihloniphayo indlela zokucinga ezingafaniyo, imbono, imeko nezisombululo ezixabisekileyo ebantwini, eluntwini nakwilizwe ngokubanzi. Ndiza kusebenzisana nabanye njengamahlakani am endilinganayo nawo ukuzama ukuba ngogqwesayo kwinkathalo ejoliswe kumntu ngamnye. Ndizibophelela ekubeni ngummeli wobulungisa kwintlalo osebenzela ukuphucula iimeko zokuphila, inkathalo efunyanwa ngabo ndinikwe uxanduva lokubakhathalela, kwaye ndiphucule neziphumo zempilo yabo ngokunjalo. Ndiyalwamkela uxanduva lokuncedisa ukwakha ikamva eliqaqambayo, eliqhubekekayo lakhe wonke ubani ngokusebenzisa imithombo ngenkathalo, ubuchule nenkuthalo. Okokugqibela, ngawo onke amaxesha ndiza kuzama ukubonelela ngenkathalo encedayo, ingeyiyo eyenzakalisayo.
So I would like to invite all health professionals present here this afternoon, if you are willing to please join us in reading the pledge. And those of you who are health professionals, please stand with us so that we read it together with the graduands. Any health professionals in the audience also. The pledge can be found in the booklet. Thank you. So let's start. I, freely and humbly, pledge to be a health professional who respects people, cares for myself, and treats others with dignity, integrity, and compassion. I value who I am and can become, as much as I value others for who they are and can become. I shall strive at all times to maintain patient confidentiality and to uphold the highest ethical standards in my practice. In an ever-changing world, I shall remain a curious, creative, and reflective health professional, respecting diverse ideologies, ideas, contexts, and solutions which matter to people, communities, and populations. I shall work with others as equal partners in striving for excellence in person-centered care. I commit to being an advocate for social justice, working to improve the living conditions, care experiences, and health outcomes of those entrusted to my care. I accept my responsibility to help build a sustainable future for all by using resources with care, creativity, and diligence. Finally, I will at all times endeavor to provide care that helps and does no harm. Thank you very much. Please take your seats. I now call upon Professor Miller, the Dean of the Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences, to read the names of our graduates, and Dr. Derek van Vuren, the MBCHB Program Leader, to present them with their pledge scrolls and prizes. Thank you.
It gives me great pleasure to announce the names of our graduates in the MBCHB program. And I would like to request that we give the students acknowledgement after the whole group has received their pledge certificates and not after each individual student. I now call upon the graduates of MBCHB to come forward and receive your pledge scroll. I will also be announcing the individual module prizes. Once you've collected your prize, please collect this and your pledge scroll, and for all of you, please pose for a quick photograph with Dr. van Vieren, who will be presenting your scroll to you. MBCHB graduates, Zaina Kasim Abu, with distinction in obstetrics and gynecology. I'm reminding you we're going to clap at the end for everybody. Zakira Alexander, distinction in orthopedics, ENT, and ophthalmology. Kaylee Dawn Allers, with distinction in ophthalmology and pediatrics. Huyam Ali, distinction in orthopedics, ENT, surgery, ophthalmology, pediatrics, obstetrics, and gynecology. Safia Ali, distinctions in ophthalmology, anesthesiology, and pediatrics. Lizaro Dane Arendse. Kerrigan Daklon Aris, with distinctions in pediatrics and ophthalmology. Imam Atia, who passes the degree cum laude with 10 distinctions, orthopedics, ENT, anesthesiology, surgery, ophthalmology, pediatrics, psychiatry, internal medicine, obstetrics, and gynecology. Nicholas Ngoy Banda, with distinctions in ENT, orthopedics, and ophthalmology. Muiz Ahmed Bardey, distinction in pediatrics. Madeleine Barnard, with a distinction in pediatrics. Matthew Colwyn Beck, with 2 distinctions in ENT and pediatrics. Akila Benjamin, with 2 distinctions in primary health care and ophthalmology. Jessica Rebecca Beukes, with distinctions in psychiatry, obstetrics and gynecology, primary health care, and ophthalmology. Sean Michael Bika, with 4 distinctions in orthopedics, ENT, ophthalmology, and primary health care. Harshini Bula, with distinction in orthopedics. Manette Biggs Lewitz. Chelsea Ann Billington, who passes the degree cum laude with 7 distinctions in obstetrics and gynecology, pediatrics, primary health care, anesthesiology, orthopedics, ophthalmology, and urology. Omhle Sonwabise Bisset, distinctions in ophthalmology and primary health care. Matthew Aiden Blows, with distinctions in ENT, ophthalmology, and primary health care. Amira Booley, with 2 distinctions in ophthalmology and obstetrics and gynecology. Beate Boshoff, who passes the degree cum laude with 10 distinctions in obstetrics and gynecology, pediatrics, internal medicine, primary health care, ENT, anesthesiology, orthopedics, ophthalmology, surgery, and urology. Anna Elisabeth Bosman, who passes the degree cum laude with 8 distinctions in obstetrics and gynecology, pediatrics, primary health care, ENT, orthopedics, ophthalmology, surgery, and urology. Tristan Michael Botha with 3 distinctions in internal medicine, ophthalmology, and orthopedics. Jana Botma, who passes the degree cum laude with 8 distinctions in anesthesiology, orthopedics, ENT, surgery, ophthalmology, primary healthcare, obstetrics and gynecology, and internal medicine. Craig Douglas Bredenkamp with 3 distinctions in ophthalmology, anesthesiology, and surgery. Reese Madison Gabriella Pinar Brits. Jaden Thomas Bueller, who passes the degree cum laude with 5 distinctions in obstetrics and gynecology, orthopedics, ENT, ophthalmology, and surgery. Aninke Songfei Pearl Burger, with distinctions in primary healthcare and ophthalmology. Zama Venolia Buthelezi. Megan Buetgen with 3 distinctions in orthopedics, ENT, and ophthalmology. Laika Karstens with a distinction in obstetrics and gynecology. Imam Kasim, who passes the degree cum laude with 7 distinctions in obstetrics and gynecology, primary healthcare, ENT, anesthesiology, orthopedics, ophthalmology, and surgery. Nasser Mohammed Kasim with a distinction in ophthalmology. Kunele Sekuse. Chelsea Cassidy Charles with 5 distinctions in orthopedics, ophthalmology, primary healthcare, obstetrics and gynecology, and pediatrics. Robin Sarah Chetty with 4 distinctions in orthopedics, surgery, ophthalmology, and obs and gynae. Shur Ali Chipa with 4 distinctions in anesthesiology, ENT, ophthalmology, and primary healthcare. Ramiz Chikte, who passes the degree cum laude with 9 distinctions in orthopedics, ENT, anesthesiology, surgery, urology, ophthalmology, primary healthcare, internal medicine, and obstetrics and gynecology. Tinashe Shifamba with a distinction in internal medicine, primary healthcare, and ENT. Srija Shantala, who passes the degree cum laude with 9 distinctions, orthopedics, ENT, anesthesiology, surgery, ophthalmology, primary healthcare, internal medicine, obs and gynae, and pediatrics. Sarah Sadat Chivilkar with a distinction in primary healthcare. Casey Kutsia with 4 distinctions in urology, ophthalmology, primary healthcare, and obs and gynae. Sunay Conradi, who passes the degree cum laude with 8 distinctions in obstetrics and gynecology, primary healthcare, ENT, orthopedics, anesthesiology, ophthalmology, surgery, and urology. Carla Cronje, who passes the degree cum laude with 10 distinctions in obstetrics and gynecology, pediatrics, internal medicine, primary healthcare, ENT, anesthesiology, orthopedics, ophthalmology, surgery, and urology. Laura Dando with 3 distinctions in ophthalmology, primary healthcare, and obstetrics and gynecology, and who also wins the Dean's Award for the Best Student Intern Assignment topic. Her topic was left inferior phrenic vein ICD implementation, and her leader was Professor Saad Lari from the Division of Emergency Medicine. Nishad Davids. I want to remind you we're going to clap at the end for everybody. Ryan Davids with a distinction in ophthalmology. Lukman Dori with 2 distinctions in primary healthcare and obstetrics and gynecology. Karina Diane de Barros, who passes the degree cum laude with 6 distinctions in orthopedics, surgery, ophthalmology, primary healthcare, obs and gynae, and psychiatry. Danike Monique de Jager, with 7 distinctions in obs and gynae, primary healthcare, ENT, anesthesiology, orthopedics, ophthalmology, and surgery. Gillian de Jong, with 3 distinctions in anesthesiology, ophthalmology, and primary healthcare. Rabika Lee de Kok, with 3 distinctions in primary healthcare, ENT, and ophthalmology. Dominique Dunarth, who passes the degree cum laude with 9 distinctions in internal medicine, pediatrics, obs and gynae, primary healthcare, anesthesiology, orthopedics, ENT, ophthalmology, and surgery. Amina Dansey, with a distinction in ophthalmology. Shazia Dansey, who passes the degree cum laude with 10 distinctions in internal medicine, obs and gynae, pediatrics, primary healthcare, ENT, orthopedics, anesthesiology, ophthalmology, surgery, and urology. Vicky Dreyer, with a distinction in anesthesiology and who wins the prize for the best performance in the domain of anesthesiology and critical care. Bianca Duplessis, who passes the degree cum laude with 8 distinctions in internal medicine, obs and gynae, orthopedics, ENT, anesthesiology, ophthalmology, surgery, and urology. Simone Durant, with 5 distinctions in pediatrics, obstetrics and gynecology, ophthalmology, primary healthcare, and surgery. Cara de Toy, who passes the degree cum laude with 9 distinctions in internal medicine, pediatrics, obs and gynae, primary healthcare, anesthesiology, orthopedics, ENT, ophthalmology, and surgery. Francois Pierre de Toy, with 2 distinctions in primary healthcare and ophthalmology. Kaylin de Toy, with 5 distinctions in ENT, urology, ophthalmology, primary healthcare, obstetrics and gynecology. Fayaz Ibrahim, with 2 distinctions in primary healthcare and ENT. Yushra Ibrahim, who passes the degree cum laude with 7 distinctions in pediatrics, obs and gynae, orthopedics, ENT, anesthesiology, ophthalmology, and urology. Taryn Chloe Ehrenreich, with a distinction in primary healthcare. Lisa Ekstein, who passes the degree cum laude with 11 distinctions in internal medicine, psychiatry, urology, ophthalmology, anesthesiology, ENT, obs and gynae, orthopedics, primary healthcare, pediatrics, and surgery, and who also wins the prize for the top student in urology in 2025, sponsored by the Division of Urology. Muhammad Yassin Esop, with 4 distinctions in primary healthcare, anesthesiology, ophthalmology, and surgery. Siyavuya Agkama Faku, who passes the degree cum laude with 5 distinctions in pediatrics, internal medicine, orthopedics, primary healthcare, and obs and gynae. Alistair Ian Ferguson, with 5 distinctions in obs and gynae, primary healthcare, ENT, orthopedics, and ophthalmology. Fatima Flores, with 6 distinctions in obs and gynae, primary healthcare, orthopedics, ENT, anesthesiology, and ophthalmology. Anneke Marietta Fourie, who passes the degree cum laude with 8 distinctions in orthopedics, anesthesiology, surgery, urology, ophthalmology, primary healthcare, internal medicine, and obs and gynae. Ashley Matthew Frampton, with 2 distinctions in ophthalmology and obs and gynae. Leila Khamildin, who passes the degree cum laude with 9 distinctions in psychiatry, internal medicine, pediatrics, primary healthcare, orthopedics, ENT, anesthesiology, ophthalmology, and urology. Alexa Genis, who passes the degree cum laude with 9 distinctions in internal medicine, pediatrics, obs and gynae, primary health care, anesthesiology, orthopedics, ENT, ophthalmology, and urology. Kiara Jade Gibson, who passes the degree cum laude with 5 distinctions in ENT, anesthesiology, ophthalmology, primary health care, obs and gynae. Nkobile Lucia Goba, with 2 distinctions in ophthalmology and obs and gynae. Imita Goduka, who passes the degree cum laude with 9 distinctions in pediatrics, obs and gynae, internal medicine, primary health care, ENT, orthopedics, ophthalmology, surgery, and neurology. Mariam Goolam Mahomed, who passes the degree cum laude with 11 distinctions, orthopedics, ENT, anesthesiology, surgery, urology, ophthalmology, primary health care, psychiatry, internal medicine, pediatrics, and obs and gynae. Zako Grief, who passes the degree cum laude with 7 distinctions in internal medicine, obs and gynae, orthopedics, anesthesiology, ophthalmology, surgery, and urology. Mila Guerini, who passes the degree cum laude, and she's going to have to stand a little bit so that I can read all her prizes. She has 11 distinctions in pediatrics, obs and gynae, psychiatry, internal medicine, primary health care, anesthesiology, ENT, orthopedics, ophthalmology, surgery, and urology. And she wins several prizes. The prize for the best overall student in clinical pharmacology in MBCHB 4 and 6, sponsored by the Division of Clinical Pharmacology. The prize for the best final year student in the domain obs and gynae, sponsored by the Department of Obs and Gynae. The prize for the best performance in the domain of internal medicine, sponsored by the Department of Medicine. The prize for the best performance in the domain of ophthalmology. This is a shared prize, and the other prize winner will be announced later. This prize is sponsored also by the Division of Ophthalmology. And the prize for the best student in the domain of surgery for 2025, sponsored by the Division of Surgery. David John Hutton, with 5 distinctions in obs and gynae, anesthesiology, orthopedics, ENT, and ophthalmology. Jared Hendricks, with 4 distinctions, obs and gynae, ENT, orthopedics, and ophthalmology. Tafiq Hendricks, with 4 distinctions in orthopedics, ophthalmology, primary health care, and obs and gynae. Tristan Shane Harmanis, with 6 distinctions in obs and gynae, primary health care, ENT, orthopedics, ophthalmology, and surgery. Montana May Haynes, with 2 distinctions in primary health care and orthopedics. Tabang Rowan Hlengwa, Rennie Hoffman, who passes the degree cum laude with 5 distinctions in internal medicine, primary health care, ENT, ophthalmology, and surgery. Jacob Holm, who passes the degree cum laude with 11 distinctions in anesthesiology, orthopedics, ENT, surgery, urology, ophthalmology, primary health care, obs and gynae, pediatrics, internal medicine, psychiatry, and who wins the prize for the best performance in cardiology and who shares the prize for the best performance in ophthalmology. Noah Hoosen, who passes the degree cum laude with 10 distinctions in orthopedics, anesthesiology, ENT, surgery, urology, ophthalmology, primary health care, psychiatry, obs and gynae, and pediatrics. Gabriela Iakovu, who passes the degree cum laude with 7 distinctions in obs and gynae, primary health care, anesthesiology, orthopedics, ophthalmology, surgery, and urology. Fatima Zora Jabbar, with 4 distinctions, primary health care, ENT, orthopedics, and surgery. Muamir Jackson with 2 distinctions, anesthesiology and obs and gynae. McKean Leanne Jacob, who passes the degree cum laude with 9 distinctions in obs and gynae, pediatrics, internal medicine, primary health care, ENT, anesthesiology, orthopedics, ophthalmology and surgery. Alden Dylan Jacobs, who passes the degree cum laude with 8 distinctions, orthopedics, ENT, anesthesiology, surgery, ophthalmology, primary health care, internal medicine and obs and gynae. Liam Ethan Jacobs, who passes the degree cum laude with 8 distinctions, obs and gynae, primary health care, orthopedics, ENT, anesthesiology, ophthalmology, surgery and urology, and who wins the prize for the best final year student in otorhinolaryngology, which is ENT, and this is sponsored by our ENT division. Muhammad Aman Jamali with a distinction in ophthalmology. Salma Jappi, who passes the degree cum laude with 8 distinctions in internal medicine, obs and gynae, primary health care, orthopedics, ENT, anesthesiology, ophthalmology and urology. Nadeem Jiwa, who passes the degree cum laude with 10 distinctions in psychiatry, internal medicine, pediatrics, obs and gynae, orthopedics, ENT, anesthesiology, surgery, urology, and ophthalmology. Rahul Jogi, with distinctions in anesthesiology and ophthalmology. Simon Jordan, who passes the degree cum laude with 9 distinctions, internal medicine, obs and gynae, primary health care, anesthesiology, orthopedics, ENT, ophthalmology, surgery, and urology. Ima Marie Joubert with 3 distinctions in ophthalmology, primary health care, and obs and gynae. Tasneem Kahar. Vian Johan Kamfer, who passes the degree cum laude with 10 distinctions in internal medicine, obs and gynae, pediatrics, primary health care, ENT, orthopedics, anesthesiology, ophthalmology, surgery, and urology. Nalan Tinashe Kamungerumu, distinctions in ophthalmology, anesthesiology, ENT, and internal medicine. Yumna Kathrada, with distinctions in obstetrics, primary health care, orthopedics, ophthalmology, surgery, and urology. Mutshala Khatla, with 6 distinctions in obs and gynae, anesthesiology, orthopedics, ophthalmology, surgery, and urology. Laila Khan, with distinctions in anesthesiology, orthopedics, surgery, and urology. Zakia Khan, with distinctions in ENT and ophthalmology. Akile Khoza, with distinctions in ENT, surgery, ophthalmology, PHC, and obs and gynae. Nkonsingipile Danisile Khoza, with distinctions in ophthalmology, primary health care, and obs and gynae. Diane Kim, distinctions in primary health care, ENT, and ophthalmology. Keegan Joshua Kines, with distinctions in ophthalmology and primary health care. Theonil Houston Kokera. Lana Koster, with distinctions in obs and gynae and primary health care. Nadia Kritzinger, with distinctions in primary health care, ophthalmology, pediatrics, and obs and gynae. Libongo Ongeziwe Kula, with distinctions in ENT and ophthalmology. Vernon Jr. Olwetu Kunene, with distinctions in orthopedics and ophthalmology. Firdaus Latu, with distinctions in orthopedics and ophthalmology. Tami Megan Labuskaghni, who passes the degree cum laude with 11 distinctions, orthopedics, anesthesiology, ENT, surgery, urology, ophthalmology, primary health care, internal medicine, psychiatry, obs and gynae, and pediatrics. Linke Lamprecht, who passes the degree cum laude with distinctions in pediatrics, obs and gynae, primary health care, ENT, anesthesiology, orthopedics, ophthalmology, surgery, and urology. Megan Katrina Lambrecht, who passes the degree cum laude with 10 distinctions in orthopedics, ENT, anesthesiology, surgery, urology, ophthalmology, primary health care, internal medicine, obs and gynae, and pediatrics, and who wins the prize for the best performance in the domain of family medicine and primary care. The prize is sponsored by the South African Academy of Family Physicians and the Division of Family Medicine and Primary Care. Sarah Emily Lapperson, 6 distinctions in orthopedics, anesthesiology, urology, ophthalmology, pediatrics, and obs and gynae. Ayub Larbi Aisa, with distinctions in orthopedics, surgery, primary health care, and obs and gynae. Andoré Lategan, distinctions in orthopedics, urology, ophthalmology, primary health care, and obs and gynaes. Neelam Latif, with distinctions in orthopedics, ophthalmology, and primary health care. Vihan Leroux, who passes the degree cum laude with 10 distinctions in anesthesiology, orthopedics, surgery, urology, ophthalmology, primary health care, pediatrics, obs and gynae, psychiatry, and internal medicine. Matipa Elizabeth Ledwaba, Lethu Gonolo Machlako Lekhau, with 3 distinctions in orthopedics, ENT, and ophthalmology. Sizu Lungisani Letsualo. Lianka Megan Lombard, with 2 distinctions in orthopedics and ophthalmology. Elizabeth Salome Loots, who passes the degree cum laude with 9 distinctions in internal medicine, urology, ophthalmology, anesthesiology, obs and gynae, orthopedics, primary health care, pediatrics, and surgery. Cara Lawrence, who passes the degree cum laude with 9 distinctions in internal medicine, pediatrics, obs and gynae, primary health care, orthopedics, ENT, ophthalmology, surgery, and urology. Eloise Lawrence, who passes the degree cum laude with 10 distinctions in psychiatry, internal medicine, obs and gynae, pediatrics, primary health care, ENT, orthopedics, ophthalmology, surgery, and urology, and who wins the prize for the best final year student in the domain of psychiatry for 2025, sponsored by the South African Society of Psychiatrists and Division of Psychiatry. Kayla Lawrence, who passes the degree cum laude with 7 distinctions in orthopedics, ENT, surgery, ophthalmology, primary health care, obs and gynae, and pediatrics. Janine Lowe, who passes the degree cum laude with 11 distinctions in obs and gynae, pediatrics, internal medicine, psychiatry, primary health care, ENT, anesthesiology, orthopedics, ophthalmology, surgery, and urology. Robin John Lunt, with 4 distinctions in primary health care, orthopedics, ENT, and ophthalmology. Singita Mabasa. Amukalani Mabusa, with a distinction in ophthalmology. Caitlin Jordan Maharaj, with distinctions in anesthesiology and primary health care. Nasheta Makadam with distinctions in orthopedics, ophthalmology, primary healthcare, obs and gynae, and internal medicine. Apendule Mangale with a distinction in ENT. Hana Mandra with distinctions in orthopedics, ophthalmology, and obs and gynae. Siwakile Nkolentle Manklele. Daniel Stanley Murray with distinctions in ophthalmology, obs and gynae, and psychiatry. Nicolas Francois Marais with distinctions in orthopedics, surgery, ophthalmology, and obs and gynae. Dirk Marie, who passes the degree cum laude with distinctions in pediatrics, obs and gynae, orthopedics, ENT, anesthesiology, ophthalmology, surgery, and urology. Charles Joshua Martin with distinctions in urology, ophthalmology, anesthesiology, and surgery. Nomasonto Masanga with distinctions in ENT, orthopedics, ophthalmology, and obs and gynae. Ruben Lefa Marcia with distinctions in ophthalmology, obs and gynae, surgery, and primary health care. Kenilwe Paulina Mataboge with distinctions in orthopedics, surgery, ophthalmology, and obs and gynae. Pashwane David Matsimela with a distinction in ophthalmology. Peter David McCausland, who passes the degree cum laude with 10 distinctions in pediatrics, obs and gynae, internal medicine, primary health care, ENT, anesthesiology, orthopedics, ophthalmology, surgery, and urology. Ndete Daniel Mdluli. Michaela Kristen Mentz with a distinction in ENT and ophthalmology. Sebokuhle Tandukazi Mhlongo. Tandukazi Mjaliswa. Anele Tembilichle Mkonza with distinctions in ENT and ophthalmology. Asanda Lungisani Mnyandu, distinction in obs and gynae. Amara Muhammad with distinctions in surgery, ophthalmology, primary health care, ENT, and obs and gynae. Maputle Colin Mokhlala with 5 distinctions in obs and gynae, anesthesiology, orthopedics, ophthalmology, and surgery. Offense Kiba Molapo with 3 distinctions in obs and gynae, orthopedics, and ophthalmology. Halaletsu Molema. Michelle Shabela Molotu with 2 distinctions in ophthalmology and obs and gynae. Francis Konke Moran, who passes the degree cum laude with 10 distinctions in pediatrics, obs and gynae, internal medicine, primary health care, anesthesiology, ENT, orthopedics, ophthalmology, surgery, and urology, and who wins the prize for the best student overall in the domain pediatrics and child health. The prize is sponsored by the Department of Pediatrics and Child Health. Megan Monique Morkel, who passes the degree cum laude with 11 distinctions, ENT, orthopedics, anesthesiology, surgery, urology, ophthalmology, primary health care, pediatrics, obs and gynae, psychiatry, and internal medicine. Adele Mouton with 6 distinctions in primary health care, ENT, orthopedics, ophthalmology, surgery, and urology. Adam Movlana, who passes the degree cum laude with 10 distinctions in orthopedics, anesthesiology, surgery, urology, ophthalmology, primary healthcare, ENT, internal medicine, and obs and gynae. Muhammad Mahfouz Bashirodin Moser with 3 distinctions in primary healthcare, ENT, and ophthalmology. Busisiwe Elizabeth Nolutandu Mtetwa with 2 distinctions in ophthalmology and obs and gynae. Faraz Mukjenker with 3 distinctions in orthopedics, ophthalmology, and obs and gynae. Zara Mukudem, who passes the degree cum laude with 4 distinctions in ophthalmology, primary health care, orthopedics, and obs and gynae. Patuchetsu Busisiwe Naomi Mulitswi, who passes the degree cum laude with 9 distinctions in pediatrics, obs and gynae, internal medicine, primary health care, anesthesiology, orthopedics, ophthalmology, surgery, and urology. Tandeka Mfunelu, who passes the degree cum laude with 7 distinctions in orthopedics, ENT, anesthesiology, ophthalmology, primary health care, pediatrics, and obs and gynae. Ashura Mvinami with a distinction in primary health care. Candice Jane Mayberg, who passes the degree cum laude and has 6 distinctions in pediatrics, obs and gynae, primary health care, ENT, ophthalmology, and urology. Caitlin Cassidy Naidu with 7 distinctions in obs and gynae, primary health care, orthopedics, ENT, anesthesiology, ophthalmology, and surgery. Abed Haider Nakvi with 3 distinctions in ophthalmology, ENT, and surgery. Elvira Narasimulu with 4 distinctions in primary health care, orthopedics, ophthalmology, and urology. Amina Nata with 5 distinctions in orthopedics, ophthalmology, primary health care, internal medicine, and obs and gynae. Kevin Curtis Nodia with 3 distinctions in ophthalmology, primary health care, and ENT. Kwazikwakwe Zakiti Ndlovu. Melokukhle Ndlovu. Siyabonga Vusumutsi Ndlozi. Nadine Nell, who passes the degree cum laude with 10 distinctions in pediatrics, obs and gynae, internal medicine, primary health care, ENT, anesthesiology, orthopedics, ophthalmology, surgery, and urology, and who wins the prize for the best final year student in the domain of pediatrics and child health. This prize is sponsored by the Department of Pediatrics and Child Health. There's a request that everybody wants to stand up a little bit while we wait for them to sort out the scrolls. So if you want to take a moment and stand, you're very welcome. Gundu, Bushe, Nchifefe. Gundo. You can always write for me how you want me to pronounce it for tomorrow on your card. Okay, we can sit again. Okay, I'll slip. Gundo Mushe Netshifefe, who passes the degree cum laude with distinctions in orthopedics, ENT, anesthesiology, surgery, urology, ophthalmology, primary health care, and obs and gynae. Sipokughle Ntrikana, Christian Wilhelm Nieuwoud with 7 distinctions in orthopedics, ENT, surgery, ophthalmology, primary health care, internal medicine, and obs and gynae. Pangasasa Nkonyane with distinctions in ENT, anesthesiology, and orthopedics. Kuhle Nande Nkwala. Elliot Nogo with distinction in ENT. Nomalungelu Fortunate Nombika with distinctions in ENT, orthopedics, and ophthalmology. Unalo Nonkonholu with distinctions in ENT and ophthalmology. Muhammad Ilyas Noorgat with distinctions in internal medicine, primary health care, orthopedics, ENT, anesthesiology, ophthalmology, surgery, and urology. Lisakanya Nkumashe with distinctions in ENT, orthopedics, ophthalmology, and surgery. Lukwanyu Nchamba with distinctions in ENT, anesthesiology, and ophthalmology. Palesa Michelle Nachwarang, who passes the degree cum laude with distinctions in anesthesiology, orthopedics, ENT, surgery, ophthalmology, primary health care, obs and gynae, pediatrics, and internal medicine. Nomatemba Nghabela with distinctions in anesthesiology, ophthalmology, and obs and gynae. Oluwagbemika David Obagbua, who passes the degree cum laude with 9 distinctions in orthopedics, ENT, surgery, urology, ophthalmology, primary health care, obs and gynae, and anesthesiology. Amorai Ulafir with distinctions in primary health care, anesthesiology, orthopedics, and ophthalmology. Asima Umar, who passes the degree cum laude with distinctions in internal medicine, pediatrics, obs and gynae, primary health care, orthopedics, ENT, ophthalmology, and surgery. Kian John Ontong, who passes the degree cum laude with 10 distinctions in orthopedics, ENT, anesthesiology, surgery, ophthalmology, primary health care, psychiatry, obs and gynae, pediatrics, and internal medicine. Tasneem Oldammer with a distinction in obstetrics and gynecology. Lalka Padutan with a distinction in ophthalmology, primary health care, internal medicine, and obs and gynae. Marine Palekar with distinctions in primary health care and anesthesiology. Trishna Pema with distinctions in ENT and ophthalmology. Sisipu Lana and Peter. Waldo Piotr, who passes the degree cum laude with 9 distinctions in anesthesiology, orthopedics, ENT, surgery, ophthalmology, primary health care, obs and gynae, pediatrics, and internal medicine. Brittany Tracy Pick. Janneke Pinaar, who passes the degree cum laude with 7 distinctions in obs and gynae, internal medicine, ENT, anesthesiology, orthopedics, ophthalmology and surgery. Muhammad Uwais Pillay with 7 distinctions in Obs and Gynae, primary health care, orthopedics, ENT, anesthesiology, ophthalmology and surgery. Matthew Pretorius with 4 distinctions in primary health care, orthopedics, ophthalmology and Obs and Gynae. Annette Evelyn Rabe, who passes the degree cum laude with 8 distinctions in Obs and Gynae, primary health care, orthopedics, ENT, anesthesiology, ophthalmology, surgery and urology. Lebogang Mampu Rashidi with 4 distinctions in ENT, anesthesiology, orthopedics and ophthalmology. Ninka Radley with 2 distinctions in orthopedics and primary health care. Tatu Ramotwala with a distinction in ENT. Dian Ramsingh with 4 distinctions, orthopedics, ophthalmology, Obs and Gynae and pediatrics. Razina Rawood with 2 distinctions in ophthalmology and primary health care. Zandri Reineke, who passes the degree cum laude with 9 distinctions in psychiatry, internal medicine, Obs and Gynae, primary health care, pediatrics, orthopedics, ENT, ophthalmology and surgery. Marian Royker with 2 distinctions in orthopedics and ophthalmology. Ziad Royker. Musiwa Salane. Nilam Samuels with 4 distinctions in orthopedics, ophthalmology, primary health care and Obs and Gynae. Imke Shamrao, who passes the degree cum laude, 8 distinctions in orthopedics, surgery, ophthalmology, anesthesiology, primary health care, internal medicine, Obs and Gynae and pediatrics. Adrian Ludovicus Skuman, who passes the degree cum laude with 10 distinctions in internal medicine, Obs and Gynae, pediatrics, primary health care, orthopedics, ENT, anesthesiology, ophthalmology, surgery, and urology. Maria Adriana Skuman with 4 distinctions in Obs and Gynae, urology, ophthalmology, and surgery. Alexa Sanet Skournius, who passes the degree cum laude with 9 distinctions in Obs and Gynae, internal medicine, primary health care, ENT, anesthesiology, orthopedics, ophthalmology, surgery, and urology. Charlize Schultz, who passes the degree cum laude with 10 distinctions in orthopedics, surgery, urology, ophthalmology, primary health care, ENT, Obs and Gynae, pediatrics, internal medicine, and psychiatry. Emil Skriba, who passes the degree cum laude with 6 distinctions in orthopedics, anesthesiology, ophthalmology, primary health care, pediatrics, and Obs and Gynae. Charlie Segal, who passes the degree cum laude with 6 distinctions in ENT, urology, ophthalmology, primary health care, internal medicine, and Obs and Gynae. Matome Sunnyboy Sekhala, who passes the degree cum laude with 9 distinctions in Obs and Gynae, internal medicine, primary health care, ENT, anesthesiology, orthopedics, ophthalmology, surgery, and urology, and it wins the prize for the best performance in the module Ethics, which is sponsored by the Division of Medical Ethics and Law. Sizwe Sengwayo with a distinction in ophthalmology. Samira Syria with distinctions in orthopedics, surgery, urology, ophthalmology, primary health care, and Obs and Gynae. Boipelo Mamokgalo Shai, who passes the degree cum laude with 10 distinctions in orthopedics, anesthesiology, surgery, urology, ophthalmology, primary health care, pediatrics, obs and gynae, psychiatry, and internal medicine. Lucian Scher, who passes the degree cum laude with 5 distinctions in primary health care, ENT, orthopedics, ophthalmology, and anesthesiology. Sabelo Silangu with 2 distinctions in ophthalmology and obs and gynae. Luke Jason Simpson with 3 distinctions in orthopedics, ENT, and ophthalmology. Anna Sinclair, who passes the degree cum laude with 11 distinctions in orthopedics, ENT, surgery, urology, ophthalmology, anesthesiology, primary health care, internal medicine, psychiatry, obs and gynae, and pediatrics. Rhoda Ntombichlaba Chantal Sitole, who passes the degree cum laude with 9 distinctions in pediatrics, obs and gynae, internal medicine, primary health care, ENT, orthopedics, ophthalmology, surgery, and anesthesiology. Louise Ioane Skinner, who passes the degree cum laude with 11 distinctions, orthopedics, anesthesiology, ENT, surgery, urology, ophthalmology, primary health care, internal medicine, psychiatry, obs and gynae, and pediatrics. Gregory Alexander Smith with 2 distinctions in ENT and ophthalmology. Thomas Arthur Soboyle, who passes the degree cum laude with 7 distinctions, ENT, orthopedics, urology, ophthalmology, primary health care, obs and gynae, and internal medicine. Elismarie Bionice Solomon, who passes the degree cum laude with 5 distinctions in surgery, pediatrics, orthopedics, primary health care, and internal medicine. Yasira Subader, distinctions in ophthalmology and primary health care. Renier Spangenberg, who passes the degree cum laude with 10 distinctions in internal medicine, pediatrics, obs and gynae, primary health care, orthopedics, ENT, anesthesiology, ophthalmology, surgery, and urology. Zandria Spangenberg, who passes the degree cum laude with 9 distinctions in obstetrics and gynecology, internal medicine, primary health care, ENT, anesthesiology, orthopedics, ophthalmology, surgery, and urology. Yadine Steenkamp with 2 distinctions in ophthalmology and obs and gynae. Liana Janet Stemmet with 4 distinctions in orthopedics, anesthesiology, ophthalmology, and obs and gynae. Nicolas Binderstein, who passes the degree cum laude with 10 distinctions in pediatrics, obs and gynae, internal medicine, primary health care, anesthesiology, ENT, orthopedics, ophthalmology, surgery, and urology. Mariette Stoop. Mila Strickland, who passes the degree cum laude with 10 distinctions in orthopedics, surgery, urology, ophthalmology, primary health care, ENT, obs and gynae, pediatrics, internal medicine, and psychiatry. Kayla Cynthia Stuurman with 4 distinctions in surgery, ophthalmology, primary health care, and ENT. Zaiba Elias Suleiman Abu Bakr with 4 distinctions in obs and gynae, primary health care, anesthesiology, and ophthalmology. Tassine Sungay with a distinction in ophthalmology. Rowan Ronisha Swart with a distinction in anesthesiology. Sisanda Tangu. Carla Tron, who passes the degree cum laude with 7 distinctions in obs and gynae, pediatrics, internal medicine, anesthesiology, orthopedics, ophthalmology, and surgery. Jacques Tron with 2 distinctions in anesthesiology and primary health care. Cara Maria Tennyson, who passes the degree cum laude with 7 distinctions in orthopedics, surgery, urology, ophthalmology, primary health care, pediatrics, and obs and gynae. Komotso Tobayane with 4 distinctions in orthopedics, ENT, anesthesiology, and obs and gynae. Lerato Unati Tsautse with 5 distinctions in orthopedics, ENT, anesthesiology, ophthalmology, and urology. Palesa Matikano Tsotsetsi. Caitlin Sheila Turner, who passes the degree cum laude with 10 distinctions in pediatrics, obs and gynae, internal medicine, primary health care, ENT, anesthesiology, orthopedics, ophthalmology, surgery, and urology. Janet McLeish Uys, distinctions in primary health care, ENT, and ophthalmology, and she wins the prize for the best performance in the rural elective. She epitomizes commitment to advancing healthcare in rural communities. This prize is sponsored by the MBCHB Program Committee and the Division of Rural Health, Ukwanda. Maya van Aswegen, who passes the degree cum laude with 9 distinctions in obs and gynae, pediatrics, internal medicine, primary health care, anesthesiology, orthopedics, ophthalmology, surgery, and urology. Jenna van Blerk, who passes the degree cum laude with 11 distinctions in internal medicine, obs and gynae, pediatrics, psychiatry, primary health care, ENT, orthopedics, anesthesiology, ophthalmology, surgery, and urology. Julian Rickert van der Ros with 2 distinctions in ophthalmology and primary health care. Chart Johannes van der Walt with 5 distinctions in obs and gynae, ophthalmology, anesthesiology, ENT, and surgery. Johanne van der Westhuizen, who passes the degree cum laude with 11 distinctions in anesthesiology, orthopedics, surgery, urology, ophthalmology, primary health care, ENT, obs and gynae, pediatrics, internal medicine, and psychiatry. Marie van Tonder with 8 distinctions in obs and gynae, primary health care, ENT, anesthesiology, ophthalmology, surgery, urology, and orthopedics. Kayla van Sail, who passes the degree cum laude and has 8 distinctions in orthopedics, urology, ophthalmology, primary health care, ENT, internal medicine, pediatrics, and obs and gynae. Carmi Victor with 2 distinctions in internal medicine and primary health care. Mvuselelelo Sibon Kakonke Vilakatsi with distinctions in ophthalmology and obs and gynae. Giza Danel von Kuhne, who passes the degree cum laude with 7 distinctions in orthopedics, surgery, ophthalmology, primary health care, obs and gynae, pediatrics, and internal medicine. Andre Frederik Vosloo, who passes the degree cum laude with 6 distinctions in internal medicine, primary health care, anesthesiology, orthopedics, ophthalmology, and urology. Karu Wiese with 2 distinctions in obs and gynae and ophthalmology. J. Lee Willemse with 3 distinctions in primary health care, ophthalmology, and surgery, and who wins the prize for the Rural Clinical School Student of the Year, awarded to a student who makes an exceptional contribution to improve community interaction and the health of a rural community, sponsored by the Division of Rural Health, Ukwanda. Lauren John Wolf, who passes the degree cum laude with 11 distinctions in pediatrics, obs and gynae, psychiatry, internal medicine, primary health care, ENT, anesthesiology, orthopedics, ophthalmology, surgery, and urology, and who wins the prize for the best performance in the domain of orthopedics, sponsored by the Division of Orthopedic Surgery and the South African Orthopedic Association. Sarah Weingaard with 3 distinctions in orthopedics, ophthalmology, and ops and gynae. This now brings us to the announcement of the Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences medals. The top academic achiever. It gives me great pleasure to announce the Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences medal for the top academic achiever. This is awarded to the MBCHB student who achieved the highest marks taken over the full duration of the program. In this case, first year average was 91.3, second year 84, third year 89%, fourth year 87%, fifth year 87%, and sixth year 90% with an average of 88.4%. It gives me great pleasure to announce that this award for the Faculty of Medicine Health Sciences Medal for the top academic achiever for 2025 goes to Mila Guerini. It gives me great pleasure now to announce the Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences Outstanding Graduand Medal awarded by the MBCHB program. This graduand is both academically sound, has been seen to live our faculty values, and epitomizes our vision for a future doctor. This year, the 2025 award goes to Francis Moran. Let's give everybody who achieved such wonderful marks and who've got their degrees today a big round of applause.
Thank you, Professor Miller. You can now have a well-deserved drink of water. I would like to thank a few people on behalf of the faculty for the contributions today. Our guest speaker, Professor Derman, thank you very much for your inspiring talk today. Our special guest, Mr. Monray Stradom from West Cape Department of Health and Wellness, DPK Productions for the technical support for the event, Wanda de Jager and Megan Salon, the Center for Academic Administration and the Marketing and Communications Division for the pledge ceremony arrangements, the faculty and university staff and student helpers supporting these colleagues, Stellenbosch University Photographic Services, the numerous funders and donors who have contributed to the success of our graduates, especially the staff and the public who have contributed to our Itemba Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences Bursary Fund. The family, friends, and significant others of our graduates, I think the graduates must give them another round of applause. The academic, clinical, and administrative staff that have contributed to our graduate success, including the student affairs and administrative and support staff, whose efforts often go unseen in supporting our students outside the academic spaces. And lastly, to our graduates, Thank you for choosing Stellenbosch University as your academic home for a significant part of your 20s. We would love to, some of us longer than others, but anyway, we would love to have you return in future to pursue further studies. We wish you well on your internship and hope that you will keep in touch with your alma mater. Please remember to take all your personal belongings with you. And finally, all guests are welcome to enjoy some sparkling wine and juice in the foyer in the Tygerberg Student Center downstairs. You are all now requested to please stand and remain standing until after the academic procession has left the hall. Please rise.